This is your Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, January the 17th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in on this rather misty, cloudy morning in January, as we had a nice rain yesterday and overnight. How about some Skycam images this morning? There's a look at Birmingham. We can see it is a misty, cloudy-looking morning. We can also see some water droplets on the lens down at Tuscaloosa as we look out over the winking out lights. And then always love the shot of Selma with the bridge, and you can certainly see the clouds, and it looks like there's no rain occurring down there, at least at the moment. On our surface map this morning, the low-pressure system that was off the central Louisiana Gulf Coast yesterday at this time is now over North Alabama and northwestern Georgia and middle and eastern Tennessee, and that is a little further to the north than what the models were showing yesterday. They were showing them a little bit further to the east. So just a little bit of difference in what actually has occurred. The upper low is now centered over northern Mississippi this morning, and that will be moving on out and will come, at least temporarily, under a bit of a ridge. Temperatures across the country are rather mild across the southeastern U.S., and you can see that the 32-degree isotherm covers about I would say about 50% of the country. The western United States and the southeastern U.S. and much of the mid-Atlantic states are definitely above freezing. And a little bit closer look at central Alabama, we can see we're generally in the lower 50s. I suspect there's a few values probably in the upper 40s this morning, but for the most part, we're just rather mild. Actually, these values are about what you would expect for highs. On the radar this morning, looking at the composite, we can see that the surface low is over northern Alabama, and we can see a lot of moisture wrapping back towards Memphis and over towards Jackson. So the rain will be ending from the southwest during the day today. Not a lot of weather advisories in effect right now. We do have a few out in the west, and along with those, we have some winter weather. Those are those pink ones across just north of the Ohio River Valley and up into parts of Pennsylvania, New York, and parts of New England. And in addition to that, some wind advisories for parts of Florida. On the QPF this morning, it looks like the rain will be ending, so I suspect for today, probably less than 1/4 of an inch for most spots. And the further north you are, the more likely you are to have 1/4 of an inch. But the further south you are, the more likely you are to have less than 1/10 of an inch. But our next weather system coming about midweek will produce the additional rain. Storm Prediction Center outlooking a small area on the southwest Florida coast of the Florida Peninsula for slight risk of severe today. This is the 06Z GFS model run, and there's our surface low over East Tennessee by noon with a lot of moisture wrapping back into Mississippi. I suspect this is a little bit overdone this morning based on what we see now. So it looks like the rain should be ending from the southwest. In the upper atmosphere, Monday, we're coming under a bit more of a zonal flow and kind of a weak ridge, so we should be high and dry as the surface high settles in over us behind that low that is now off in the Atlantic. By Tuesday, we're beginning to see at least a little bit of a change. We've got really a strong shortwave coming in on the west coast, and in addition to that, we have a really strong closed low coming through the Great Lakes. Now that one's going to dip down and have a bit of an impact on us. You can see that at the surface there's a bit of a front across the Ohio River Valley, and that may actually make it down into this area to produce some rain chances on Wednesday. By Wednesday, one little piece of energy is coming in under the ridge that is across West Texas, and then we've got the now not a closed low, but now in the eastern Great Lakes, we have a strong short wave, and that will bring the front down into the area. It looks like for the most part it's going to be north of us, so it looks like we may be dry for much of the day on Wednesday, but then the little short wave coming out of Texas intensifies, becomes a closed low, and that should help to produce a surface low, and that will bring a wet day to us for Thursday. And then by Friday, that short wave is off into the southeast coast of the U.S., and we're under a strong but small ridge. In the meantime, a huge short wave is developing off to our west, And so Friday should be a dry day. On Saturday, we're probably going to be transitioning with clouds increasing as that strong short wave intensifies and comes at us. And so that should be producing a strong surface low in the central U.S. But it looks like for the most part, other than clouds, we probably will be dry for the early part of Saturday. And then finally, for a week from today, that upper low becomes a really large closed low over about eastern Iowa there, and that will produce a good front to come through our area, and that should be ending the rain by Sunday afternoon. And just a real quick look at Monday, we see that closed low open up into a short wave, and that will bring a lot of looks like snow to the Great Lakes area and the Ohio River Valley. Now, very quickly out into Voodoo, we get under a southwesterly, nearly zonal southwesterly flow, which is going to be rather moist, but the GFS is screaming mild. And then finally, at the end of the period, it looks like around the 1st of February. Gosh, where'd January go? We're under a ridge, and that should make us pretty much dry. Well, I appreciate you tuning in to the Weather Xtreme video. James Spann will be back with the next edition bright and early tomorrow morning. In the meantime, I hope that you have a great Sunday. For me, I'm off to church this morning. This is third Sunday, so my turn to usher. And appreciate all the guys that help out with the ushering duties at Helena United Methodist Church. In the meantime, have a great day and Godspeed.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.